Okay, sounds good. Hi, I'm Kylie Black, and I'm a junior at the University of Nebraska at Omaha. A group of my fellow students and I began a project in the middle of the pandemic in 2020. The pandemic felt and still feels so isolating, and it makes us miss all the times when we all felt more connected. Many times, those moments of connectedness circle around food traditions, family recipes, or a particular memory rich with smells, tastes, and colors. We're not all social work students, but we are all working towards careers in human services where connecting with others is key. So we use this opportunity to interview folks in our community, Omaha, Nebraska, about their relationship to and memories of food. For this project, we only spoke to women living in Omaha. Not because other folks don't have stories to share, but we feel that women are so often saddled with the responsibility of food preparation, but not given gratitude or respect for often being the memory holders. Today, we'll be listening to part of my interview with Shannon Kyler, a program director for one of Omaha's oldest community gardens. City Sprouts started in 1995.
I don't think it's fair for us to say first probably, but it's definitely the longest standing because there may have been back when there were like victory gardens and stuff during World War II. Maybe they were community gardens then too, but they're not around anymore.
Gotcha.
Yeah, the longest running.
That's super cool. That's impressive. Congratulations on that. So yeah, if you could just tell me a little bit more about City Sprouts.
Yeah, so City Sprouts was started in 1995. Some neighbors got together and decided they wanted to do something with the empty lots. So they got neighbors together, they started a garden, and it was just the community garden for the first 10 years until 2005. And then the house that we use as our education center was donated to us in 2005. So that's where now our offices are. We hold workshops.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, and I think it was probably around there they built a chicken coop, started keeping chickens, and really started to grow more as an organization. And they were very neighborhood based. Their focus was on the neighborhood, especially in the early years. And then we got the land for our Decatur urban farm. We just share the space with about 5 different immigrant families that just grow whatever they want in that space. And we provide water and stuff. So it's been that way since the farm started. So we've grown a ton. We're now a staff we're hiring for 2 positions right now, but usually we're 7 full-time staff. And then we have this workshop series, adult education, been all virtual this last year, but usually it's in person. And I'm teaching a chicken workshop tonight.
I'm still impressed that you guys are just donated a whole house. So could you tell me a little bit about the people that come to your garden or that attend your workshops?
All of our different programs kind of reach different populations. Our gardeners, like our North Community Garden, you have to live within a mile radius of the garden to come. So it's more place-based. And most people live closer than that even to the garden.
So then a little bit more personal, do you have a food story?
Yeah, I guess I feel like when I was a kid, my family had a garden and I was always in charge of weeding and watering it in the summer, which didn't make me love gardening that much. But I did appreciate we always grew just a ton of tomatoes. So I just have these very clear memories of going outside and picking, especially cherry tomatoes, and just eating them outside. But also I'd pick big tomatoes and slice them up and eat them with toast when I was really little. It was just my thing. It was the first vegetable that I remember feeling really loving and having and getting excited about summertime and smelling the plants and smelling the fruit. And it's I have a lot of visceral sort of memories about that.
Yeah, absolutely. That's kind of crazy that I say that because my other grandma, she loves gardening and all that. And so I was also her little helper out in the garden. Mm-hmm. And there are pictures of me just carrying armfuls of tomatoes, the big ones, the very, very small ones. And it's just childhood happiness. This mm-hmm. tomato is my happiness. Mm-hmm. Is there anything that you want to share more about your organization or about like what you guys do?
Yeah, I feel like one of the biggest parts of my job, most important parts, and things I enjoy the most is being able to connect people with experiences with food and nature. And we can't like make people eat vegetables, and not everybody's going to start a garden. But if someone comes and they taste something they haven't tasted before, or they get their hands in the dirt and they're not like grossed out about it, or, all of that, like that's a huge thing. And those memories, just like, us with the tomatoes, being outside and food and things that make you feel good really like stick with you. And so that's kind of like the angle I come at it with my job. I'm like, if I can help people create those memories and like happy feelings around food.
Absolutely.
I have this neighbor, or he's not a neighbor anymore, but he lived down the street at the time, and he kind of just like happened upon the chickens and really into the chickens. I called him when I didn't know his name. I called him Chicken Guy for a long time, but he does have a name. I did learn his name. And he later told me he's schizophrenic, and he's had lots of ups and downs and like things going on. But he kind of like, we formed this connection, and he started kind of like volunteering and helping out in the garden and being kind of a security guard for the chickens on some level, and coming to events and just like sharing and participating in the way that like felt good to him, which sometimes he needed like, he had to explain like, this is like, I don't like being around these people, or I gotta go right now, or this is weird, or whatever. He was there in the way that worked for him, and we were able to like build a relationship. And I think those sorts of things are really meaningful to me too, because I think especially in like nonprofit work, and when you're in this like, it's like cute, it's gardening and whatever, sometimes people feel like they have to be a certain way to like, I don't know, approach it, but yeah, just like those sorts of connections with people who also are maybe not welcomed into spaces like that all the time. I'm glad that we can be a space that lots of different people feel good coming into.
Absolutely. I love that story. Just because, like you said, like that's like absolutely like part of the community. And I don't know. That's such a good story.
I'm glad that I thought to share it, but yeah, there's lots of good stuff like that. That's kind of what I live for. Yeah, and come visit sometime. The garden is always open. You can just stop by and wander around whenever.
Oh my God. Yeah, absolutely.
And I just started incubating chicken eggs today, so they should be hatching. Well, they will hatch in 21 days as long as everything goes well, and then the chicks will be up at City Sprouts. I mean, they'll be inside, but eventually, early summer, there will be younger chickens running around too.
Oh, I'm so excited for the chickens. I'm so excited. We'd like to thank the UNO Service Learning Academy and the School of Social Work for their support on this project. Of course, we also thank all the wonderful folks we've interviewed, our professor Lisa Smith, and Together Inc.'s AmeriCorps volunteers, Emily Shanahan and Tuki Pomakan. This podcast features music by Joshua Labir and was produced by Emily Chen-Newton of Figure Podcast, your Midwestern podcast network. Until next time, stay safe, listen to women, and eat good food.
I don't know, nonprofit work, and when you're in this like, it's like cute, it's gardening and whatever.